they're looking for someone that already has experience. The most of the time, and I don't have. I have just studied. I have just theory. I don't have any kind of experience.
Of course, so, you had no time to get the experience.
Yeah. So also if I try to apply for stage or trainship or this kind of things, also for these they want already some kind of experience. Yes.
For the trainship.
Yes.
So what kind of training is if you got the experience already? I don't see.
I don't know, because I think for scientific job is different.
Hi, darling. How are you?
I'm okay.
Okay, yes. So Francesca said that she's coming as soon as she can because she's late. She got some problems. So if I don't get wrong, we were supposed to start page 56 of the listening of part 3. Am I right? Am I wrong?
56. No, we already
did it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we finished with 58.
Okay. Yes, we got the part 4 of the listening. Okay, the part 4, Marta, can you read this? What does consist this part 4?
Yes. Part 4 consists of a series of 5 short monologues, each lasting about 30 seconds. You will hear the recording twice.
Yes.
And the monologues are all on a related topic. There are 2 parallel matching tasks relating to the monologues. Each task consists of 5 questions, and you have to select the correct option from a set of 8. You have to choose the correct option to match with each monologue.
Yes.
The task focuses on 2 different aspects of the monologues. For example, identifying what happened to the speaker and understanding why the speaker chose a particular course of action. You have to complete both tasks while you listen. The answers in each monologue can be in any order. For example, you might hear the answer to task 2 before the answer to task 1.
This is much more tricky actually, because they are not put in order, so you can have them both in the but let's try to do some exercise that are preparing us to face this task. Find the perfect match. So whilst in the other part of the listening we were just focused on the distractors, you remember all the distractors, now we have to find out the perfect match. Marta, read what do we have to do now?
Okay. Study the exam task, then read the first part of the recording script below. Which are the 2 correct answers for speaker 1? Which are other options might some people get distracted by? Why are these options incorrect? You will hear 5 short extracts in which people are talking about changing their jobs.
Okay, so we are going to do it. This is, I don't see the, because this is a photocopy. Oh no, I got here. Let me go at the right page, because I don't see the number of the listening. 60. This is page 59. Okay, good. Okay. So we are not going to listen to the recording, but we are going to read it. So what we can do is I cover it, and Marta, if you can even close it, and Mara reads for us. Okay? Read the speaker one.
The speaker one. Okay.
Yes, please.
Well, I stock shelves in a supermarket now, but until a few months ago, I was a reporter on a local paper. It was a pretty good job. I spent most of my time going out with paper's photographer, interviewing an amazing variety of local people who'd done something special. My colleagues were interesting characters on the wall. I didn't care for one or two of them, but that's inevitable in any job. I worked the long hours and the pay wasn't brilliant, but I'd never have left if it hasn't been for my husband. He'd been teaching in the same primary school for years, and he was keen to take on a more challenging post, so he went for a deputy headship. Much to his surprise, he got it, but it was in a town 200 miles away, too far for me to commute. Oh well, this isn't too bad a job really. The pay is better than you might imagine. I'm considering going part-time because I find it a bit difficult to be doing the same thing all day every day, but haven't come to a definite decision yet.
Okay. Okay. So now finding the perfect match. We have task 1, we have to choose from the list the job that each speaker used to do. So what was the job of task 1?
Shop assistant.
Actual. Each speaker used to do shop assistant.
Used to. Journalist.
Journalist, yes, it was journalist. And task 2, choose from the list each speaker's reason for changing jobs. Which one was this speaker 1?
They wanted to be with a spouse who had to move.
Yeah, they wanted
What?
to be,
I didn't
yeah,
understand.
D. So do you agree? You
Okay.
read it, of course. So you got, probably it was easier for you, but not so much, I think. So you have to just put the task, the various tasks in the right place. Okay, so each speaker used to do a journalist, and reason why for changing jobs was that they wanted to be with a spouse who had to move. Okay. Now let's get and trying to do it. Now let's use a preparation time to read the instructions and options of both tasks very carefully. Before we listen, we think about words and phrases a speaker might use to express the ideas, and we're going to discuss it a bit before. As you listen to each speaker, try to answer the question in both tasks. If you cannot answer one of the questions on your first listening, do not worry. When you listen again, the answer may come more easily. We hope so. Some answer will already be eliminated. Oh, here is Jessica. Very good. Just on time. Hi, Fra. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay. So we are now facing the listening part 4. Okay, and we are at page 60 of our book.
60.
Yes.
Okay.
We have just made a bit of preparation with a very simple exercise, but now we are getting into the exam practice. So this is, you know, you got 2 tasks and a list of things for each task. and then you're going to listen to 5 short extract of 5 different people. They are talking about his job, their own job. So you have to answer both to this and this. But before we get into, okay, remember that the answer to the task may come at the beginning, middle, or the end of each speaker say. So each speaker is given this reply, but they are not in order, not the order of the speakers, not the order of the information. So information each speaker is given can be given in any part of his speech. Okay, so could be task 2 and then task 1, could be the opposite. The speaker is unlikely to use exactly the same word as the options, of course. So listen for paraphrases. At the end of the task, carefully transfer, okay, everything on your task sheet. So to do this exercise, that is seems quite complicated, but believe me, it's not. It's just a matter of starting the first one, and then because there's no one on the first certificate, you don't have something that is completely the same. It's something similar, but it's not. So you hear 5 short extracts in which people are talking about the jobs. Our task 1 is choose the list. From this list, what made each speaker choose their career? So you have the 5 speakers and you have to understand each one which is correct. Of course, there are more than 5, so some of them you don't use them and could be anytime, but you have 2 tasks for each speaker, not just one. And the second task, you have to choose from this other list the difficulty each speaker has had to overcome. So for each speaker, you have to understand first what made choose his career, and second, difficulties to choose this career. Okay, before doing that, we are going to read which are the 2 tasks in order to expect a bit what they are going to say. For example, can you read, Mara, this task 1?
Just the list?
Yes, this is what make you choose this job.
So I wish to help others.
Okay, so we are expecting what kind of words? Volunteers, you know, this kind of words. Yeah, because of course it's not using help the others, it's using something different. Then
the influence of family member.
My mother did, my father done this. I have a sister that was in that job, in that field, and so on.
A chance encounter.
Yeah, maybe so.
Know.
Yeah, maybe friends, somebody important.
Okay. A teacher's advice.
Okay, maybe he wouldn't say teacher, but he would say, my professor told me to do so.
An inspirational book.
Okay, this is very clear.
A desire to travel.
Idem. Ditto, actually.
Yeah. A gift for a specific academic skill. An unusual skill.
Okay, so think also of words that can be substituted skill. What could you say?
Competence.
Competence, ability. There are so many that you can understand. And then, Francesca, could you read task 2 about difficulties?
Having to meet tight deadlines. Mastering some complex technology. Living far from work. fierce competition, combining work and study, rapid turnover of staff, obtaining finance, a difficult working relationship.
They are quite clear because both the reason and the difficulties are very common. The thing is that now we are going to listen to the various speakers and say which one is the correct one, okay? We are going to listen once, then we stop. If we need to discuss this first time, we do, and then we listen to it again. When you're ready, I'm going. Let me see, because I'm not sure that I shared the, okay, I didn't share the audio. Okay, now it's okay. Are you there, Marta? Because I don't see you. So, okay, good.
No, I'm here. I just have some internet problems. Don't worry.
Don't worry. Yes. But just I have to check it out if you're still there.
No, I'm here.
Good. Okay. Audio C1, number 8.
Test 1. Exam practice. Listening. Part 4. Part 4 consists of 2 tasks. You will hear 5 short extracts in which people are talking about their jobs. Look at Task 1. For questions 21 to 25, choose from the list A to H what made each speaker choose their career. Now look at Task 2. For questions 26 to 30, choose from the list A to H the difficulty each speaker has had to overcome. While you listen, you must complete both tasks. You now have 45 seconds to look at Part 4. You will need to play the recording twice.
Okay.
Speaker 1.
When I was at school, I had a talent for chemistry, and my teachers advised me to become a research scientist. But in the summer holidays, after I finished school, some friends and I went travelling around Europe by train. In Greece, we got talking to a group of archaeologists, and they suggested we join them on a dig. I was hooked from the first moment. Luckily, I was then able to get a place on a university course, and I've never looked back. It hasn't all been plain sailing, but I've been fortunate enough to get funding for the projects I've wanted to work on, which can often be a major issue for archaeologists. I suppose the main problem is constantly having to train new helpers. Most of the people who come and work on digs are only doing it for a few months at a time.
Speaker 2.
I was very fortunate indeed to get this job. It's a first-rate accountancy firm, and lots of highly qualified people both from this country and from abroad compete to work here, though few get taken on. My dad's an accountant, but that's not what got me into this field. In fact, if anything, he advised me against it. He remembered how hard he'd found it as a young man, spending years studying in the evenings after working all day. But that wasn't too much of a problem for me. I've just always had a flair for working with figures, and I find it very satisfying to immerse myself in a client's accounts. Some of my friends find that a bit weird, I think. But I think numbers can be much more straightforward to work with than people, and there's plenty of good software to help you with most of the more tedious operations these days.
Speaker 3.
I work as an airline pilot. It's not quite as glamorous as people often think it sounds, as you don't really get to see much of the places you travel to. Fortunately, I was aware of that before I decided to go for this as a career. I fly out of an airport that's over 40 miles from the town where I used to live with my family. I commuted for about 10 years, but then we decided it was all too much, especially when I was either leaving early or getting back late. So we uprooted, and things are much easier for me now. It was my old geography master who suggested I might enjoy flying, actually. He'd have loved to have been a pilot himself, but said he couldn't afford the training. My granddad actually financed mine, which was amazingly kind of him.
Speaker 4. It's quite hard working in the fashion business, but it's fun of course too. I love being creative and helping other women look their best, but you wouldn't believe how tense it can be in those last few days before a major show. You just have to get everything ready on time, and that can often mean a few all-nighters. I enjoy working with the models. Even the top ones are nothing like as temperamental as the press often makes out. My aunt used to be one, and I guess it was her stories that got me into the business in the first place. People have often told me I'm very talented, but I don't think I am. It's just a matter of being prepared to put in the hard graft, and that's never been an issue for me. I guess I'm a bit of a workaholic, really. Speaker 5.
Other young boys usually go through a stage of wanting to be astronauts or circus clowns, but I've only ever wanted to be a civil engineer ever since I was a small kid. I think I was enthused when I came across a biography of the man who built some of the first ever iron bridges. That was it as far as I was concerned. I certainly don't have any regrets. It's a rewarding job, and I even quite enjoy the buzz of working to deadlines. Fortunately, these days, most of the design is done using computer programs. I'm sure I'd have found it very difficult doing precise drawings by hand as they used to have to. My boss can be a bit bad-tempered at times. I don't like it, but I've learned not to let it bother me too much. If it got too bad, I'd try to find a job elsewhere, as indeed several other members of staff have ended up doing.
That is the end of part 4.
How was it?
Terrible.
Terrible.
I said the same. Terrible.
I got almost all of them. I don't know if they're right, but I got almost all of them.
At least you try. Be always positive, except for coronavirus. Okay, now we're going to listen to it again. Do you want to do so let's now read some advices. I didn't wanted you to read before because sometimes the advice are getting you into confusion if you don't know what they are talking about. But now that we have listened once, we can read it. 21, that was here, the first. The speaker mentioned several different influences from the first list of options, but which one answered the question? So the question, remember, is what made each speaker choose their career? Okay, so for 27, that is this one, of course. Remember that the answer to task 2 may sometimes come before the answer to task 1. If they say that here, that means that this is the case. 30, the speaker has mentioned several things that he has not had difficulty with it in his current job, but which one is a difficulty for him? Okay, so don't get distracted from words that are not connected to the task. Okay, let's listen to it again.
Test 1. Exam practice. Listening. Part 4.
Of course, I'm going on.
Part 4 consists...
Should arrive here. Come on, beep. No. Okay.
Speaker 1.
When I was at school, I had a talent for chemistry, and my teachers advised me to become a research scientist. But in the summer holidays, after I finished school, some friends and I went travelling around Europe by train. In Greece, we got talking to a group of archaeologists, and they suggested we join them on a dig. I was hooked from the first moment. Luckily, I was then able to get a place on a university course, and I've never looked back. It hasn't all been plain sailing, but I've been fortunate enough to get funding for the projects I've wanted to work on, which can often be a major issue for archaeologists. I suppose the main problem is constantly having to train new helpers. Most of the people who come and work on digs are only doing it for a few months at a time.
Speaker 2.
I was very fortunate indeed to get this job. It's a first-rate accountancy firm, and lots of highly qualified people both from this country and from abroad compete to work here, though few get taken on. My dad's an accountant, but that's not what got me into this field. In fact, if anything, he advised me against it. He remembered how hard he'd found it as a young man, spending years studying in the evenings after working all day. But that wasn't too much of a problem for me. I've just always had a flair for working with figures, and I find it very satisfying to immerse myself in a client's accounts. Some of my friends find that a bit weird, I think. But I think numbers can be much more straightforward to work with than people, and there's plenty of good software to help you with most of the more tedious operations these days.
Speaker 3.
I work as an airline pilot. It's not quite as glamorous as people often think it sounds, as you don't really get to see much of the places you travel to. Fortunately, I was aware of that before I decided to go for this as a career. I fly out of an airport that's over 40 miles from the town where I used to live with my family. I commuted for about 10 years, but then we decided it was all too much, especially when I was either leaving early or getting back late. So we uprooted, and things are much easier for me now. It was my old geography master who suggested I might enjoy flying, actually. He'd have loved to have been a pilot himself, but said he couldn't afford the training. My granddad actually financed mine, which was amazingly kind of him.
Speaker 4.
It's quite hard working in the fashion business, but it's fun, of course, too. I love being creative and helping other women look their best, but you wouldn't believe how tense it can be in those last few days before a major show. You just have to get everything ready on time, and that can often mean a few all-nighters. I enjoy working with the models. Even the top ones are nothing like as temperamental as the press often makes out. My aunt used to be one, and I guess it was her stories that got me into the business in the first place. People have often told me I'm very talented, but I don't think I am. It's just a matter of being prepared to put in the hard graft, and that's never been an issue for me. I guess I'm a bit of a workaholic, really.
Speaker 5.
Other young boys usually go through a stage of wanting to be astronauts or circus clowns, but I've only ever wanted to be a civil engineer ever since I was a small kid. I think I was enthused when I came across a biography of the man who built some of the first ever iron bridges. That was it as far as I was concerned. I certainly don't have any regrets. It's a rewarding job, and I even quite enjoy the buzz of working to deadlines. Fortunately, these days, most of the design is done using computer programs. I'm sure I'd have found it very difficult doing precise drawings by hand as they used to have to. My boss can be a bit bad-tempered at times. I don't like it, but I've learned not to let it bother me too much. If it got too bad, I'd try to find a job elsewhere, as indeed several other members of staff have ended up doing.
Okay.
That is the end of part 4.
Thank you, dear.
Paola, io purtroppo devo andare via tra pochi minuti, che oggi è una giornataccia.
Tanto sto registrando, poi
poi me lo
ti vedi
riguardo.
i risultati, le cose,
Ok,
non ti
no,
preoccupare.
questo riesco a farlo.
Ah,
però...
ok, allora vediamolo al volo, tutti i risultati
sì.
e anche che cos'è che ci può aver fatto capire o non capire. Ok, let's go. 21, what did you put?
Speaker 1?
Yes.
Sì.
21C. Ok, ve li dico così in ordine, per cui non task 1 e task 2,
Ah, ok.
ma andiamo 21, 22, eccetera. Prima tutto il task 1 e poi tutto il task 2. 21, Francesca dice sì. Voi ragazze?
Sì.
Anche.
Sì, brave. Bravissime, perché got talking to è uguale a chance encounter. Brave. Ok, 22.
I
What
put
do you...
8, but I'm not sure.
Marta?
Me too.
And Franci?
22, no.
What do you put? No means that you didn't put anything.
No,
or...
I missed it.
Oh, you miss it. Okay, so actually the right one was G.
Oh.
Yeah, a gift from a specific academic skill, because although the speaker is mentioning that the father was an accountant, remember, she goes on to make it clear that he advised her against taking up accountancy as a career. So actually it wasn't this. Okay, 23, what do you put?
H.
No, I put D.
D and?
B.
No, Marta was right, because he's talking about a master that is a teacher. When they say master, and then
Which is the answer?
So it's D.
D.
Yeah.
A teacher's advice.
Yes, a teacher's advice. So 24.
A.
The girls?
I missed it.
You miss it? And Marta?
B.
B. It is B. Yes, because they're talking about her owned. She's talking about the owned, so the relative.
B.
Yes, it's B. Yeah. 25.
25. E.
Other girls?
I put H.
Those H is you like it, but it's not. But it's E. Yes, it is E.
I never heard about some book.
Ragazzi, io devo andare.
Ok, Franci.
Un bacione a tutte. Ciao.
Ciao,
Bye,
darling.
see you.
Ciao. No, she doesn't mention probably the book, but when she say that was it, means that was all that was necessary. But I don't know if this one is something that is not helping you.
No.
No, you should, you know what else we can do, girls, if you want. I can send you the file, the MP3 file, and you can listen to it again afterward by reading the text. And in this way, Mara, you will understand which are the words that they didn't allow you to understand it. Okay, we'll do it right now. Let's finish the task 2. So 26, you put what, girls?
26, it's F.
Mara,
I missed it.
You miss it. Okay, it is half. 27.
A.
I put D.
D is D. Yes. You go, girl. Marta, go for it. 28.
28, C.
It is C, yes. 29.
A.
Yes.
Yes, good. And 30?
30 is H.
H. It is H. Finally, it's H. Yes, it is H. Yes. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now, because otherwise I'm going to, you can, let me see, where is the Speaking part. This is listening part 3, part 4. Part 3. Listening part 3. Okay. No, it's not this one. No, this is the test 2. I got the test 1. Okay, they should be back. I want to find the page, Mara, where is the tape script. So that you can go there. And then I'm going to send you the audio. Okay, got it. I got it. So you can go to page. So I say also in the recording, so Francesca can find it out. Radio interview for Tosca. Okay. Okay, we got at page 208. You got the listening that is numbered as 1-8. And you can watch it. And I'm going to send you immediately the listening.
208.
Yes, 208.
Okay.
This is Francesca. I send it to Francesca. It's arriving just like a normal MP3 without any. Do you want it as well, Marta? Do you want the MP3 or not?
No.
No. No, you did it well. Probably just one mistake, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's correct. Okay. Just sent. Okay. So you find out the audio and you can listen by reading. And you should, my suggestion is that you should underline all the words that you see that they didn't allow you to understand the whole.
Okay.
Because probably there are some, if it's just a matter of words, that means that they probably use some words that you didn't recognize, that's better. If it's a matter of the way they are talking, it's probably more important. It's more important problem because it could be that you don't understand the structure of the and the form they are using. So this is a bit more complicated, but I think it's just a matter of words and maybe something about pronunciation. Okay, let's go on. Okay, what's the time? Yes, we have time to do a bit of speaking. Okay, let's see. First, we are going to do some exercise that are preparing us for this speaking task. Can you read, Mara, the task information of the speaking?
Okay, part 1 lasts about 2 minutes. You are with a partner for all parts of the speaking test. Occasionally, candidates are in the group of 3. There are 2 examiners. One is the interlocutor, and he or she will ask you questions. The assessor completes the mark sheet while he or she listens to what you say. First, the interlocutor tells you the names of the examiners and takes your mark sheet. In part 1, the interlocutor talks to you and your partner individually. You have to answer general questions about yourself, your life, your interests, your past experience, your plans for the future, blah, blah. One aim of part 1 is to help you to relax by asking you about topics that you're familiar with.
Okay, very easy to relax in this situation. Okay, understanding how your speaking is assessed. So this is always from the examiner point of view to let you know and to let you understand what they want from you. Okay, so the examiner will assess your speaking, consider 5 criteria. Match the criteria 1 to 5 with the definition. Let's try. Let's go, Marta.
Sorry, in which page are we on?
We are now in 61, exercise 1.
Okay. One moment, because I lost the page.
Yes, we should probably read all from A to E before getting on. Okay, so we do on the other way around. So we start from reading by A and then finding what is A, which one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for A. So let's start with A.
How easy it is to understand what you say, including how well you use stress and intonation. That is pronunciation.
That is pronunciation, that you have to be very careful about it, Marta. Yeah. And trying to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
How well you initiate and respond in conversation with the interlocutor and with your partner. Discourse management. No, interactive communication, one of the
This
two.
is the interactive communication because it's the way you are just with your partner interaction. Yes. Go on, Mara.
How accurately you use English structures and how wide a range of structures you use. Grammatical resource.
Yes, grammatical resource.
How currently you speak by linking what you say and by not hesitating too much. This discourse management.
Yes.
And how appropriately.
Yes, appropriately.
Appropriately, you choose words to express your ideas and how wide a range of words you use. Vocabulary resource.
Very good. Now we are going to listen to these speakers. The first time you listen, you decide which speaker in each pair is better, A or B. They are candidates. And you put a tick in the table. Okay, so the second time you listen, you decide which of the criteria listed in exercise 1 each pair illustrates. Okay, criteria. And then you write 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, of course, for each question. The first question has been done as an example. Okay, you get it, what to do? It's quite easy.
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Test 1. Training. Speaking. Part 1. Exercise 2. Question 1. Speaker A.
What do you enjoy most about studying English?
I like the way that it makes it possible for me to communicate with people all over the world.
Question 1. Speaker B.
What do you enjoy most about studying English?
I like the way that it makes it possible for me to communicate with people all over the world.
Question 2. Speaker A.
What's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to you?
That's a difficult question, but I think it might have been something that happened on my 11th birthday. I was with my parents, who were working on an archaeological dig on a northern island of Scotland, when a schoolboy who'd just arrived to help on the site discovered treasure. It was a hoard of silver bowls and brooches. They're thought to have been there for nearly 1,200 years. That was certainly an extraordinarily exciting day.
Question 2. Speaker B.
What's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to you?
Perhaps something that happened on my 11th birthday. I was with my parents on an archaeological dig on a northern island of Scotland. A schoolboy arrived to help on the site for the first time. He discovered treasure. It was a hoard of silver bowls and brooches. They were probably there for nearly 1,200 years. That was certainly an extraordinarily exciting day.
Question 3. Speaker A.
What's your opinion of computer games?
I like computer games. I think most of them are very good, though some are not so good, of course. I play them a lot with my friends. My parents don't like computer games, but I think they're very fun.
Question 3. Speaker B.
What's your opinion of computer games?
Well, that depends. I like some computer games very much, particularly games based on sports, like football or motor racing or snowboarding. I'm not so keen on adventure games. I spend a lot of time playing computer games with my friends. My parents say I'm wasting my time, but I think it's a perfectly reasonable way to relax.
Question 4. Speaker A.
What kind of music do you enjoy listening to?
I like pop music. I listen to it every day. I listen to it on my iPod on my way to college.
Question 4. Speaker B.
What kind of music do you enjoy listening to? Well, let me think. I like pop music. Yes, that's what I listen to most. I always have my iPod with me, and I listen to it on my way to and from college.
Question 5. Speaker A.
Who was your best friend when you were at school?
Sorry, do you mean when I was at primary school or at secondary school?
As you like. Primary school, perhaps.
Okay, then it was a girl who lived next door to me. Her name was Tessa.
Question 5. Speaker B.
Who was your best friend when you were at school?
I think friends are very important when you are at school.
Okay, so let's see if we can answer directly now to all, even the criterion, but not necessarily, because if you needed more time, we're gonna listen to it again, but I think you do. So just decide which one was better is quite easy. So question A, of course, it was A, better. Question 2, what do you think was better?
A.
Yes. Question 3?
B.
Yes. Question 4?
B.
Yes. And question 5?
A.
Good. But now let's get into the criterion. Okay. Number 4, the pronunciation was for question 1. Well, what were they talk about in question 2? They were about what?
I'm not sure. I put 3, but could be everything.
Yeah, it could be everything because they were terrible.
Yeah.
Yes, but of course, you see, these are people that actually they could do these exams. So don't worry about what you are, if you are prepared or not. Okay. And anyway, it was about grammatical resource. Number 2. Number 3 was what? Marta, what do you think?
Can't remember honestly.
And you, Mara?
5. Interactive communication.
No, interactive is when you are to talk with somebody else and have to ask it.
Okay.
So actually here was vocabulary. Vocabulary that was actually the first one was very simple, was an A2 speech actually, because she didn't use any vocabulary that is supposed to know for a C1. Okay, and number 4.
Discourse management.
Yes, you know, that is something we should avoid. And number 5 was the interactive.
Yeah.
Yes, was the interactive. So you see, here are some answers. Very nice. Here we have the answer, but you have to let me know, what do you think the questions were and how could you improve the answer? So, number 1, for example, is detective stories. I think they're very exciting. Mara, what do you think could be the question?
What kind of book do you like more?
Yeah, do you enjoy reading most? Yes. And what do you think she could say more than this sentence?
I don't know, I'm very terrible.
So what kind of information she could say, or he, the candidate? No, for example, she could say, give more information about a specific writer or a specific story. Okay. If you are saying that you don't, I mean, they should stop you, not the opposite. So you should talk for at least a minute. So if they ask you something, for example, what do you enjoy reading most? And you say, detective story. For example, I'm fond of Patricia Highsmith. I've read almost all of her books because they are a mixture of psychology and crime together, you know, something like that. Not something out of this world. Okay, Marta, I went to the cinema, then I went home and went to bed at about 10:30.
The question could be, what did you do yesterday?
Yes, last night. And what she could say better?
She could argument, talk more about what she said. For example, she will say, yesterday I went to the cinema and I saw this amazing new film. Then I went home by car and when I got back home, I had a nice dinner and I ate a salad, and then I went to bed at about 10:30 p.m. after having a shower, for example.
Yes, for example, or telling more about the film.
Yeah.
Like if your evening, it was just watching a film, even on TV, you can talk about the film that you watched on TV. So prepare a film that is always useful to do it. Always, because you know the film is always come up handy when you're talking about speaking test. Okay, I try not to eat too much and I do plenty of exercise. What could it be, the question?
Something like what do you do to maintain your shape or something?
To keep fit. Yes.
Yeah, to keep fit.
Yeah, perfect. And what else could the candidate say?
Something like that avoid to eat carbohydrates, and they try to eat more proteins.
Yes, the diet. So
yeah,
talking about the diet, or talking more about the kind of exercise. So trying to give details. Okay, very good. Or what is going to avoid? Okay, the diet. And you say, oh, I'm following this kind of diet. I think I'll probably need to speak in both at work and when I'm traveling.
The question could be, why are you studying English?
Oh yeah, that's a typical one.
Yeah, they usually ask that.
Yes, they do. And what could you reply to add to this candidate information?
You will say, for example, I want to work in a travel agency, so that's very important that I know English to talk to more clients.
Yeah.
And since I work in a travel agency because I really like to travel, so when I travel, I don't want to have any trouble with speaking. So I prefer. So I'm studying English for that reason.
Okay, very good. Okay, so this is something that, Mara, for example, you can do it. If you got any friend that is you can involve in this experiment, you can you remember the 4 questions that are very general. Generic questions, and trying to make some interview. So they let you ask, your friend is asking an interview, and you reply and you record it. And then you send it to me. Okay. Okay. So because maybe with a friend of yours, you can be very relaxed. Marta, if you have time to do it, you can do it by yourself. But I'm not going to push you in any way in this period that you are studying at school.
No, probably at the end of this month, it will be much more calm, and I will be able to do all the stuff.
Yeah, no problem. You will tell me. And so I'm just resuming the questions, Mara. Okay, that could be. Let me see. Okay, what do you enjoy reading most? Number 2. What did you do last night? Number 3. How do you try to keep fit? My answer would be, I don't.
Yeah.
This period, I don't. Okay, number 4. How do you think you use your English in the future? Okay, so if you enjoy doing audio, recording on audio, or a video, if you want a video, if you are so brave to record a video, do it with a friend of yours. And because it's important that you're not doing, because why do I say with a friend of yours? Because if you're doing by yourself, it's like, a real homework. It doesn't have to be a homework. It has to be practice. So it has to be real, with a real person in front of you that is watching you and listening to you. Okay?
Okay.
Let's try,
sorry,
Mara.
the question number 4, which is?
Question number 4 was, how do you think you'll use your English in the future?
Okay. Yes.
Easy.
Yeah, no, I thought you said another kind of question.
No. Just
English.
these 4.
Okay.
Okay, girls. So I'm going to send you even this, put online and upload this meeting for Francesca, so she can do the same if she got time, of course. Okay, see you next time, girls. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.